Welcome to Part 2 of the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool All-Stars Quality Process. This video will provide you with a more detailed explanation of the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool All-Stars Quality Process. In this video, we will briefly review the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool All-Stars Regulatory Guidance and the All-Stars domains. More detail will be provided regarding required standards, the different requirements for all All-Stars levels, and information regarding how All-Stars standards will be documented. As explained in Part 1 of the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool All-Stars Quality Process Training, a preschool site providing state-funded preschool services is required to participate in Kentucky All-Stars rating system at least level 3 or above. Each preschool site providing services to children under the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool Regulatory Guidance will receive a STARS rating every 3 years. STARS level ratings are determined by each preschool site's implementation of standards within 4 domains. As discussed in Part 1 of the Quality Process Training, the requirements listed here must be completed for all sites. Teaching staff is defined as teachers and assistants. For sites with more than one teaching assistant per classroom, one assistant per classroom can meet this requirement. An observation with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool must be completed in 1/3 of classrooms per site. The preschool unit of OSIL will determine which classrooms will be observed. Observation must be completed by an observer who has been trained in reliability with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool. This person can be a district employee. If there are no district employees trained as reliable observers, the RTC can complete the observation. Also, as discussed in Part 1 of the Quality Process Training, there are minimum points that must be achieved within each domain in addition to the other required components. Those points are listed here. Each level of All-Stars has slightly different requirements. In order to achieve a level 3 All-Stars rating, each site must complete all required components previously described, as well as documenting at least 7 additional points from any domain, and all lead teachers and the preschool coordinator or designee must complete Introduction to the Pyramid Model training. As discussed previously, a Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool must be completed in 1/3 of classrooms at each site, but no minimum score is required for a level 3 All-Stars rating. To achieve an All-Stars level 4 rating, each site must complete all required components previously described, as well as documenting at least 17 additional points from any domain, and all lead teachers and the preschool coordinator or designee must complete Introduction to the Pyramid Model training and Pyramid Model Modules 1 and 2. An observation with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool must be completed in 1/3 of classrooms at each site, and an average score of 70% fidelity across observed classrooms must be obtained, with no more than 1 red flag observed per classroom. Additionally, sites must implement the pyramid model by having an active district or site-level leadership team that is established and meets regularly to guide pyramid model implementation. To achieve an All-Stars level 5, each site must complete all required components previously described, as well as documenting at least 27 additional points from any domain, and all lead teachers and the preschool coordinator or designee must complete Introduction to the Pyramid Model training and Pyramid Model Modules 1 through 4. An observation with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool must be completed in 1/3 of classrooms at each site, and an average score of 80% fidelity across observed classrooms must be obtained with no red flags observed. Additionally, sites must implement the pyramid model by having an active district or site-level leadership team that is established and meets regularly to guide pyramid model implementation. Leadership teams must also complete the Benchmarks of Quality tool and create and work toward an action plan to improve pyramid implementation. Coaching must also be provided to classroom staff to ensure ongoing improvement toward pyramid model practices. As discussed previously, in order to achieve a level 4 or 5 on Kentucky state-funded preschool all-stars, sites or districts must establish a leadership team that meets regularly to support pyramid model implementation. Leadership team members should include a program administrator, representation from teaching staff, family representation, and an individual who provides coaching to teaching staff, and an individual who serves as a behavior specialist. One member may represent more than one of these areas, so an individual person is not necessary for each representation. In addition to having a leadership team to guide pyramid model implementation, in order to achieve a Kentucky state-funded preschool all-stars level 5 rating, the site or district leadership team must complete the benchmarks of quality self-assessment tool, use the self-assessment to create an action plan, and work toward improving pyramid model implementation through the plan. A level 5 all-stars rating also requires that preschool classroom staff receive coaching to improve pyramid model practices. For the purpose of determining state-funded preschool all-stars level ratings, districts are divided into cohorts. Cohort 1 districts must provide all-stars documentation during the 2024-25 school year. Cohort 2 districts must provide all-stars documentation during the 2025-26 school year. Cohort 3 districts must provide all-stars documentation during the 2026-27 school year. And a list of districts within each cohort can be found by accessing the Preschool Coordinator Handbook on the RTC website. The State Preschool Quality Supplement within the GMAP application platform will be used to document each site's compliance with the state-funded preschool all-stars process. The GMAP application opens on January 1st of each year, and all documentation must be completed and the application approved through the District Finance Director and Superintendent by March 31st of each year. Documentation to be submitted to the Preschool Quality Supplement includes documentation of all-star standards within the domains of family and community engagement, classroom and instructional quality, staff qualifications and professional development, and administrative and leadership practices. Additionally, a basic care checklist and an environmental self-assessment must be completed for each classroom designated for an observation with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool. The basic care checklist will be provided to districts during their cohort year. And if you have questions about acceptable self-assessment options, please contact the Berea RTC for more information. Districts will not be required to upload pyramid model implementation documentation to the GMAP Quality Supplement. Instead, districts will provide evidence of pyramid model implementation to the RTC for verification. Pyramid model training provided to the district by the RTC will be verified through the RTC's training attendance records. The pyramid implementation components of state preschool quality all-stars must be completed and documented by April 30th of each cohort year. This includes the quality process training, the pyramid model training, observations with the Teaching Pyramid Observation Tool, and the pyramid implementation components of leadership team meetings, coaching, benchmarks of quality, and action plan development. As explained previously, the training components will be documented through the Berea RTC training records. Districts will submit evidence of the observation and implementation components to the RTC. The RTC will confirm these components with the preschool unit of the Office of Special Education and Early Learning at KDE so that an all-stars rating can be completed for each site providing state-funded preschool services. This concludes Part 2 of the Kentucky State-Funded Preschool All-Stars Quality Process. Please feel free to contact me with any questions about the process.